We chose to become a single car family, and there has been some challenges as well as some pros to this type of situation. It certainly has not been easy, and it's not anything that I ever thought I would have done. But you know what? I don't think I regret it. So let's talk about some pros and cons to being a single car family. But there's a few things that we didn't quite consider when we were deciding to sell the car. It was more of a very quick, but also deliberate decision in trying to pay down our debt. You hear all of the financial gurus, the first thing they say is like, get rid of the car, buy a cheaper car, get rid of that debt. And the first thing my husband told me when I wanted to quit teaching and become a stay-at-home mom was, we'll have to get rid of the car. I did not want to believe that. I'm the one who does the finances in the household, and I still wanted to make it work. I wanted to keep the car. But I'm really glad that we made that decision and we got rid of it. It's been at least 4 months now, and it hasn't been the worst thing in the world. So let's start with the first thing. We sold the car to get rid of the debt. In selling the car, we were able to get rid of the debt. We were able to get rid of the car loan payment. And we were able to take some extra money that the car had a little bit extra value than our debt was on it. We were able to take that money and pay down other debts as well as purchase a fixer-upper car. Do I suggest getting a fixer-upper car? No. My husband's an auto mechanic and he is really good at fixing cars, and I trust him. For now, we're still waiting on the car to be fixed, and we're using a truck and squeezing the car seats in the back. But it's working. Lauren here, it is in fact not working. That lemon car, the fixer upper, it died. It doesn't work. Every time my husband would take it on test drive, something else would break. And then he'd take it on another test drive, something else would break. And we put a couple $1,000s into purchasing the car, buying the materials, and a lot of work hours that my husband could have used working on other cars and making money for us. Didn't work out. We don't have a backup. We don't have a down payment for another car. We're still trying to pay off some debt, and maybe our tax refund can help us have down payment for another car. I really don't want to take out another loan, so we are trying to figure out how to make it work until we can get another car. But for now, we are all still squeezing into that original truck. Technically, there's also a reduced carbon footprint. There's fewer emissions because we're not going to town as much. We're not buying as much gas. But you could probably accomplish all of that if you just stayed home more often. This also probably wouldn't be one of the main reasons people decide to move to a single car family. We also do a lot more walking in our neighborhood because that's one of the only ways we can get out now instead of going to a park. Don't get me wrong, we do go to the park once a week, but it's once a week. So sometimes we walk the neighborhood. Ooh, I will say a really good pro for me, and this might be more for your neurodivergent type brains, is I don't get a change in plans. So before, when we had two cars, sometimes my husband would call me and say, hey, I'm thinking about getting this for dinner or doing this for dinner. Do you think you could pick it up? Or, hey, we really need to fix this item. Do you think you could go to Lowe's or Ace and pick up this specific thing? And sometimes that would throw a wrench in whatever plan I had for the day of cleaning and cooking and doing whatever we did in our house. So not having a car, well, that plan is out of the window. Like, we will not change our plans. We have to be very deliberate and specific on what we want to do. So here's what you all came for, is the cons. There's quite a few, unfortunately, and it's not bad. There's just a lot to work with. Convenience issues is one of the big ones. We'll have scheduling conflicts. Sometimes I will want to go to an event and he is also doing lawn care maintenance after work. And so we need to have not only have someone babysit, but we also need to have a way for me to make it to the event or for him to make it home or take the trailer to the yard. There's so much to think about. Now, if you don't have someone that needs a truck specifically for an after work activity, then essentially all you have to do is just drop them off at work and then pick them up afterward. So play dates, summer splash pad ideas, all of those things that I would want to do in the summer, I can't really do unless it's on a Wednesday, which is the only day that he doesn't work mowing yards. And that's the only day he doesn't need the truck that has the trailer attached. There is limited flexibility. I can't be spontaneous and just go on a trip like, oh, let me drive 2 hours away to the grandparents' house and let the kids play with the grandparents, because we need to be back in time for my husband to get picked up from work. Now, we live in a suburban type area, so we can't even go and use public transportation like a bus or anything. If you live next to a bus, this would be perfect for you. But we don't even have a bus. It is strictly a car to get from place to place. If you are used to traveling around in Texas and you know what those suburban areas are like, it's not necessarily easy to just get on a bike and go. But we have a convenience store right next to our house. So if I did forget something on the grocery order, like potatoes or carrots, or yesterday I forgot Greek yogurt, we just grab the kids up, scoop them, and walk down to the spring market down the road and pick them up. This is also something I would really suggest for couples or families who are really good at communicating what they need. If you're still having trouble communicating with your spouse on needs or dependency, or you have an issue with being dependent on your spouse for anything, this is not something I would consider. I am quite literally home 4 out of 5 days of the week, and on the weekends too. I'm dependent on my husband to stay true to his word and to come home on time if I have somewhere else to be afterward. This means I can't have like Mother's Day Out program where I take the kids somewhere and then I go do all of the errands. I'm quite literally with the kids all day. I'm perfectly okay with this sacrifice that we are making as a family and that he is making so that we can efficiently pay down debt and hopefully set ourselves up for a beautiful life and for my children to be able to go to college. This is amazing, but it's not for everyone. So if you have increased tension in your marriage or maybe even dependency stress, probably not something you need. Ooh, finally, the biggest thing that people are worried about when I talk about us being a single car family is emergency preparedness. Now, I was in Boy Scouting. It's a long story, but I know what it means to be prepared. And my parents were also very high on the emergency preparedness lifestyle. So, not having a car, if someone has an accident, if something bad happens, you need to have a plan B, or you need to be able to sacrifice if you don't have a plan B. Do you have a hospital near you that can get the ambulance to you quickly? Do you have a neighbor who would be able to drive you somewhere or if would let you borrow a car? This is where you would have to really rely on your community. Are you willing to not have that emergency backup plan? Are you willing to hopefully not have any accidents happen? That one actually kind of gives me some anxiety. Not in a bad way, like I'm okay with it, but it does stress me out just a little bit because we don't really have a good backup plan. We will eventually go back to a two-car family, but this is definitely a time in our life that we can look back on and be like, hey, we made it through that. We pushed through that. We communicated. We problem solved. I can't tell you how many times we had to problem solve getting the car somewhere or getting someone to some location. But we did it. I'm Lauren. If you are interested in more financial conversations or frugal tips or just systems to manage your home efficiently, consider giving me a follow. Maybe we can talk more about this subject. Bye, y'all.